Good morning, everyone. So, I'm Senator John Kane, and I represent the 9th Senatorial District, which encompasses parts of Delaware County and Chester County. And what we're here today is to talk about the Construction Opioid Awareness Week, and this is our press conference. For the people that don't know me, I've been in recovery for 40 years. I had a problem with drugs and alcohol back when I was a young man. I served by apprenticeship in the Plumbers Union from 1979 to 1983. We used to proud ourselves about the fact that we work hard, but we party harder. Well, by the time I graduated my apprenticeship in 1983, I was a full-blown alcoholic and a drug addict. I was able to seek help only because there was a guy on the last job that I had worked on who was talking to me about the problem of my drinking. I ended up getting a drunk driving on a motorcycle in a high-speed chase, eluding the police, running red lights, the whole gamut of a high-speed chase. And it was in the newspaper. And what ended up happening was this individual pulled me off to the side and said, "This is about the third or fourth time that I read about you in the past couple of months. Do you ever think maybe you got a drinking problem?" I was 22 years old. No. I thought I was just a regular kid, just having a good old time. Well, a good old time for John Kane was getting drunk and getting locked up and getting into a fight. Cost me all sorts of money. I was a problem child. So what I promised this guy was that I would try an AA meeting. So I go to a meeting. I spill my beans. Yeah, maybe I do have a problem with my drinking because it seems like every time I drink, I get in trouble. Well, after spilling all the beans to that group, they said, "Thank you for coming to our Al-Anon meeting. Maybe you ought to go to an AA meeting." So needless to say, about 30 days later, I tried it again, and I have been recovered ever since. But if it wasn't for that individual, he was the steward on the job, to pull me off to the side to have that conversation about my drinking problem, I may not have ever quit. He brought it to my attention. I was the business manager of the Plumbers Union in the city of Philadelphia, the largest plumbers union in the state of Pennsylvania. I represented close to 1,750 plumbers, men and women. When I took over that union in 2007, times were good. But unfortunately, we saw what happened in 2008. From 2010 to 2012, I had 10 of my members commit suicide. From 2007 to the year that the month of December of 2020, when I retired, 22 of my members overdosed and died because of the opioid epidemic. So people always said, "What's the reason why you ran for Senate?" That's the reason why I ran for Senate, because of all these people struggling out there with drugs and alcohol. I'm here at the Senate, and I advocate for anybody that has a drug and alcohol problem to come see me or talk to anybody that's here today. With that, that's John Kane's story. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to my good friend, Senator Devlin Robinson. Senator.
Thanks.
You got it.
Good job, Joe.
Thank you, Senator Kane. I know I, for one, can say that I'm very glad that that person got you into recovery, because a better co-chair I could not ask for. So thank you. But I'm pleased to join my colleagues today to shed light on the issue of opioid addiction in the construction industry. Construction workers are particularly susceptible to issues related to opioid addiction and prescription drug abuse due to the physically demanding nature of the work and the aging workforce. A recently released National Center for Health Statistics report found that the construction industry had the highest rate of overdose deaths in 2020. It is critical that we educate our workers about the potential dangers of opioid abuse and provide resources to those struggling with addiction. I applaud the efforts of the associations and businesses here today, especially during the upcoming Construction Opioid Awareness Week in July, to promote awareness about the dangers of opioid and prescription drug abuse. The construction industry is very active in the summer months, making late July an ideal time for these awareness efforts. Thank you to our hardworking construction workers for all you do to build and maintain our facilities and infrastructure that allow us to maintain our lifestyles. We want to make sure you are safe both on and off the job, so you can be there each day for your families and friends. Thank you, and now I'd like to turn it over to my other good friend, Tina Tartaglione.
Thank you, Senator Robinson. Hello, my name's Tina, and I'm an alcoholic. I've been in recovery for the last 21 years. I'd like to thank everyone for being here today. I am honored to join Keystone Contractors Association, my colleagues, Senator Kane and Robinson, our colleagues from the other side of the building, and labor unions from across the Commonwealth to have such an important conversation. We are here today to address a critical issue that affects not just construction industry, but our communities and our Commonwealth at large, the opioid crisis. As someone who has been sober for 21 years, having overcome my own battle with alcohol addiction, I can personally attest to the devastating impact substance abuse can have on individuals and their families. I won't lie, my journey to sobriety was hard, but it has given me a deep understanding of the importance of support, awareness, and effective solutions. My experiences also instilled in me a profound sense of responsibility to help others facing similar struggles. It's no secret this construction industry is physically demanding, and it's no surprise it has been particularly susceptible to opioid misuse. Construction workers often suffer from injuries and chronic pain, leading them to seek relief through medical interventions and, too often, opioid pain options. Unfortunately, this can quickly spiral into dependency and addiction. The statistics are alarming. Construction workers are significantly more likely to develop opioid use disorders and other addictions compared to other professions. But through Opioid Awareness Week and other initiatives, we can not just recognize the problem, we can take decisive action to end addiction in the construction industry. So please, help us raise awareness, help us educate the construction industry, and help us implement preventative measures to make sure we end the pains that are often felt due to the scourge of addiction. Again, thank you for being here today, and thank you for all your help in your lending your voices and time to end the opioid crisis that faces not just our construction industry, but our nation as a whole. Thank you. I now want to introduce John O'Brien, Executive Director, Keystone Contractors Association.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. Thanks to Senator Kane, Robinson, and Tartaglione. Thank you for your leadership and your partnership on this very important issue. Thank you guys so much for shining a light on this. Our industry needs this light shine very bright on it. As mentioned, my name is John O'Brien, Executive Director of the Keystone Contractors Association. Before I jump into my remarks, I just want to share a quick comment I read about an article just 2 weeks ago from Massachusetts. There was a study that came out, and the stats revealed that from 2011 to 2020, working age citizens from Massachusetts who died from a drug overdose were 35% more likely to have used opioids as a result of a work-related injury. That's how our industry operated, back then, just 10 years ago. You got to work, you got to get a paycheck, you got to keep it going. Just pop some pills, take some opioids, whatever, or get back on the job site. That was the norm. Don't get me wrong, we're not perfect now. We have a lot of work to do. That's why we're here today. We still have a ton of work to do. I think we're trending in the right direction, but it's stuff like that. And you pick up the paper, news, whatever, you always see weekly stats, whatever, and it's very alarming and kind of gets us motivated to do more work. So I just wanted to share that. When it comes to the KCA involvement in this issue, that started in 2016. I was hired by the KCA. I relocated my family from Pittsburgh to central Pennsylvania. I can walk down the streets in Pittsburgh and I can point at a building. I can tell you who built it, what contractor built it, the history of that company, whatever. I can tell you the labor leaders involved in the negotiations for that project. I can tell you it all. But when it comes to central Pennsylvania, the rest of the state, I had no idea, what was going on in the industry. So I spent that first year on a statewide tour, met with every construction company associated with KCA. Constantly on the road, Scranton, Johnstown, Erie, State College. KCA covers a lot of territory in our state. So I was driving nonstop. And the one thing I kept hearing, comment after comment from all these meetings, pain meds kept getting mentioned, opioids kept getting mentioned. And I brought that back to the KCA board. This was 7-8 years ago, saying this is a big issue and we don't really do anything about it. We need to be more active on it. And it seems like we just ignored and hoped the issue would go away. And I just want to stress that wasn't unique to KCA. That was common 7-8 years ago. Just ignore the issue from the construction industry and let's hope it just goes away. But as we all know, it doesn't go away. It just got worse. So also in my role for KCA, I serve on numerous labor management, joint apprenticeship committees. And in late 2016 to early 2017, we had back-to-back meetings, apprenticeship meetings, and something happened that really changed and kicked us into gear here. Those back-to-back meetings, we had 2 deaths within our industry. We had 2 apprentices, 20-something apprentices. One died of an overdose, heroin, that started with opioid and moved up to heroin. The second one was suicide. And at that point, we're like, let's stop talking and saying we're going to do something. Let's actually get to work and do something. From that point on, I assembled what I like to refer to as the Construction Safety and Health All-Star Team. We had leading professionals from labor, our labor industry helped us out, National Safety Council in DC, Associated General Contractors of America, Master Builders Association in Pittsburgh. We had the whole nation covered. We even had Patrick Kennedy. He flew us up to the Kennedy compound in 2019, and we had some working sessions up there just to decide what can we do, what exactly can we do here. So with all these meetings and all these top-notch people, we just kept compiling resources, wanted to get them out to employers and make sure our employers and our union training centers had great resources to share. But we knew we needed to do more. So we needed to focus on communication. And the first thing we did at the KCA was National Safety Council approached us about 7 years ago, and they said, when it comes to communication and get people talking, here's a little gesture, just a small little thing. It says, "Opioid warn me." You can stick it on your medical card or your pharmacy card. And you might think to yourself, well, once I go to the doctor or the pharmacy, I'm in the system. I don't have to show that again, But the key part here is we stress to the executives, we stress to the training directors, we stress to the high up people within the industry. It's on the delivery that matters for this sticker. We want you to personally deliver this to the workers. Let them know they're part of the family, they're part of the construction community, and they're part of the construction community, and make them feel welcome and let them know it's okay not to be okay, it's okay to talk up. And just the feedback I heard from executives was awesome. like I said, we have a long way to go, but from those early stages, the lines of communication were open, and there was a lot of talk, and people were talking about, how they felt and everything, and it's really helped the industry a lot. The opioid warming stickers are just one resource that we offer contractor members. We also offer safety toolbox talks, job site posters, training sessions, videos, tons of educational resources. And our goal is for not just the Construction Opioid Week, but throughout the year, just to make sure that employers know these resources are available and get them out to their workers. And each year, we try and build on the resources that we offer. And this year, our big movement is on Narcan. We want to make sure there's Narcan on every construction job site in Pennsylvania. So we're getting that message out to Pennsylvania employers, and we have a bunch of Narcan we got from the state government, and we're connecting our contractor members with the state so they know how to get these resources. And lastly, I just want to close by letting everyone know about an event that's happening later this year. Due to the KCA's early involvement in opioid awareness, we have been connected to a lot of professionals, companies, organizations across the country. One group that we've been working with over the past 4 or 5 years, the Opioid Response Network, ORN, they provide a lot of community resources, and they get grant money, and they host a lot of public summits throughout the country. And they approached us earlier this year, and they said, we want to host a construction-only summit. And I'm glad to announce that this year in Pennsylvania, right across the river, will be the first Opioid Response Network Summit, a blueprint to recovery, September 11th at Camp Hill. Hopefully we can get Senator Kane to get involved there, so he's on the list. But yes, September 11th, we'll get those notices out. Please save the date. I'll be sticking around for questions afterwards if you have any. But now I'd like to call up Michael Ford. Our labor partners have been tremendous on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My name is Michael Ford. I am the Secretary Treasurer for the Pennsylvania State Building and Construction Trades Council. As John said, this is an epidemic no matter where you're at in the state. You could be in Erie, Wilkes-Barre. You could be in my little town of Huntington Mills. There's issues everywhere. And to build a little bit about something Senator Kane said, somebody took him to the side and explained to him that he needed help. And I think that's the only way to fix this. Together with our friends in the legislature, we're going to be able to do this. I don't know how, but I know that none of us are as strong as all of us. And if we collectively go at it and push hard, we have to be able to help. So other than that, I just, it's an epidemic. It's terrible. We have our training coordinators deal with it every day. We, in our locals, across the state, we administer our own health care and things like that. This is a huge amount. It's a huge topic at every conversation that we have when we're talking about the opioid epidemic, what it's doing to members, how it's affecting business in general. It's an awful thing, but I think if we just get together, work together, we'll be able to get ahead of it and do the best we can to slow it down and hopefully stop it. With that, I would like to introduce Jill Hassan. I'm sorry, I screwed it up again.
Hi, I work for House. I want to thank John and Kara McCaffrey for inviting me today. So the greatest title I have is a mother, and I have 5 kids, 3 of my own, 2 bonus stepchildren. And this past February, my husband and I had just arrived in Florida, and we got the call that every parent dreads. They found my son and daughter-in-law unresponsive, and that was her father. My son's father-in-law. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. I'm not used to talking in public. But so I got a flight home, and there was no drugs or anything found in the apartment. So they had no idea that this is what was going on, because we had no idea what was going on. When they got to the hospital, they did some testing. They found that there was fentanyl, opioids, and marijuana in their system. But they were both unresponsive, so we had no idea what had happened. My daughter-in-law came out of it much quicker. This was on a Thursday. By Sunday, she was out. My son was in the hospital for 12 days. He did not come out of everything for at least 5 days. Scariest thing I've ever seen. By the grace of God, they are okay. It's a daily struggle that they work every day to stay clean. They're out in Pittsburgh because that's where I'm originally from. But as a company with Hauk, I'm very proud to be there, and I'm hoping that I can help the guys in our construction field. We're doing a lot with them. We're promoting National Drug Take-Back Days. We are getting Narcan, and we're hoping to get it out to all the sites where our foremen, our superintendents have it, and we're going to train everybody. We're doing toolbox talks. But I just wanted to share a little bit of why I'm here and why I'm so passionate about it. Mental health awareness has always been huge to me, but now the opioid addiction has overtaken that. So thank you very much, and I'll give it back to Senator Kane. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill, and thank you, everybody, for attending today. And Jill, thank you for sharing your story with us. In closing, I just want to say I know there's some organizations out there that will help out any individual that may have a problem with drug addiction. I know that the City of Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Building Trade, they have a peer advocacy program. It's a start. It's something that happened before I retired, they were just getting it started. And what they have are individuals that are in recovery. They have a patch on their hard hat, letting people know on the job site that if they have a problem with addiction or if they have a problem with mental illness, that they can go to somebody and talk to them and it'll be held confidential. That seems to be the biggest problem out there is the stigma of being a drug addict and an alcoholic. Nobody ever wanted to grow up to be one, but unfortunately, it is an addiction. I appreciate again everybody that showed up here today to talk about this addiction issue that we have on the construction site. And I'm Senator John Kane, and I'm an alcoholic. Thank you for coming out today. Do we have any questions? Great. Thank you.
Good job, Joe.
All right, good job.